Newcastle. Let's go live to today's Jack Hahn at City Police Centre. Jack, what sparked the chase?
Yeah, good morning to you, Lizzie. Look, officers say that they have noticed a man on a motorbike without number plates, so they chucked on their lights and sirens wanting to have a chat with this man, but they say he had other ideas, racing off, and that is when police have given chase. This police pursuit crisscrossing several suburbs of Newcastle, southbound on the Pacific Highway until they came to Charlestown. That's when this all came to a crashing and the rider losing control, falling off his bike. He was fatally wounded. Police and paramedics trying everything to bring him back to life, but he could not be saved, dying at the scene. Eyewitnesses report that at times this police pursuit and the actions of the motorbike rider were astonishing, that the motorbike rider was at a very high rate of speed. The pursuit was not terminated, which means a critical incident investigation is now underway this morning, while a report will be prepared for the coroner. Lizzie, it's believed that the rider was very young, aged in his early 20s.
Jack Hahn with the latest details. Thank you.
Hi guys, I've made a bit of a playlist of different police chases where people have been injured or killed, mainly killed. I just wanted to do a little bit of a live on it. I was really saddened by the comments on a lot of the different Facebook groups. This young man lost his life in a police chase, and it was really sad, like the nasty comments, like basically saying he deserved it. You know what I mean? He was a young 20-year-old kid, and you know, he was chased and he was doing the wrong thing. There's no disputing that, but you know, he didn't deserve to die. And the reason that I'm sort of, you know, really interested in it, well, there's a couple of reasons. Like I feel bad for the young fella and for his family. Also, my father was killed in a motorbike accident, so it's sort of, you know, a bit close to my heart as well. But the reality is, there's laws, you know, against you know, chases if there's unnecessary, you know, if it's not necessary to chase. And they've chased this kid all the way from in town in Hamilton right up to Charlestown, and I don't know, like, he had no plates, or he had, you know, plates that were invisible. I mean, I don't know the whole circumstances, so I'm not bagging out the police. I'm not saying anyone was in the wrong, but what I am saying is, like, it really needs to be looked into. And you know, there's some rules, you know, where people are not meant to be chased if you know, if it's not life-threatening, if it's not a murder suspect, all these different things. But it seems like, and I might be wrong, that maybe sometimes the police ego gets in the way of the, you know, the safety of the community. So I've gone through and I've compiled a couple of different videos, and some of them innocent motorists have been killed, you know what I mean? And that's the real sad thing. It was, to me, I find it really sad that this young man got killed, but there are other circumstances where the police have chased people and someone else has lost their life. So we'll have a bit of a look at the other videos we've got here.
Dead after a fugitive truck thief led police on a high-speed chase through Melbourne's west. As Lana Murphy reports, the accused man was unlicensed and out on bail when he sped through a red light in Footscray.
Police feared the worst when this stolen truck fled from them, and within the hour, an innocent man was dead.
It makes you sick in the stomach. It really does, because it is such a waste of human life.
The driver of this Corolla, collateral damage as a fugitive, evaded police. The stolen truck was spotted at an industrial estate in Truganina around 3 this morning. But as officers swooped, the driver fled. It sparked an hour-long chase with police on the ground and the air wing above. As the truck sped towards the city, police say the driver collided with another car. It reached high speeds, crossed onto the wrong side of the road and through red lights, prompting a special operations group to move in. Stop sticks were deployed but failed to halt the truck. At 4:30 in Footscray, it sped through a Ballarat Road intersection and struck a car that was turning right, sending it 80 metres onto a footpath and killing the driver instantly.
Complete disregard for community safety, the arrogance and high-level criminal behaviour that these people are engaging in. And this is always a risk that something like this is going to happen. It's an absolute tragedy.
I heard the coppers,
So he's talking about the arrogance of the, you know, the criminal, and you know, he's right. It's very arrogant. It's very stupid. But what about the stupidity of the police? Like, you're chasing a fucking truck, for goodness sake. Like, how dangerous could that be? You know what I mean? You're meant to call off the chase if it's not, going to be safe. It's a fucking truck. Like, if that hits someone, it's going to kill someone, and it's killed a poor young lady. But all of a sudden, oh yeah, magically, oh, we called off the chase just before. Like, just before. Yeah, right. It's always coincidental that they call off the chase just before someone gets killed. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke.
And obviously,
Anyway, it's absolutely sickening. These
Three teenagers have hit and
This is another one. This poor fella. There was a police chase. This guy on his motorbike has been fucking hit, and he's, sorry for swearing, I'm very passionate about it. I'm really, you know what I mean. I don't know what the answers are. I'm not saying that the police are all wrong or whatever. I'm just saying, like, when I've worked in the mines quite a bit, and when you're in the mines, if you're doing any task, you have to fill out a JSA and you have to work out whether it's safe or whether it's dangerous. Like, obviously, sometimes, I can understand if there's someone and he's on the streets and he's like killing multiple people, they need to be stopped straight away. I'm not saying I don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's all the circumstances. All I'm saying is something needs to be done. Something needs to be looked into these, incidents, because I can imagine that. And I understand from the police perspective. I don't understand, but I can understand they're in the moment, they're in the heat of the moment, they're trying to do their job, and I'm not saying they don't do a good job. I'm sure a lot of them, work really hard and do a really great job. But when there's people's lives, at risk, innocent people's lives, then, maybe more needs to be done. Maybe more checks and balances. Maybe there needs to be stricter rules on, how they're allowed to chase, because it seems like a lot of times they're causing more harm than good.
killed an innocent motorbike rider while trying to escape police in northern New South Wales. Officers were chasing the 14-year-old boys when their stolen ute ploughed into the bike at high speed.
On a remote road east of Gunnedah, a deadly joyride comes to an end.
A 42-year-old man going about his business has been killed as a result of the reckless actions of three youths.
Three teenage boys were in this stolen ute when it sped along country roads.
The three 14-year-olds involved are very well known to local police in Moree.
When the children repeatedly refused to stop for police, they hit a motorbike. The rider thrown 40 metres.
He's pulled out of a service station. He's been hit at speed, and he would not know what hit him when he was unfortunately killed.
The ute was stolen from a home in Moree early this morning, travelling more than 200 kilometres south to Carroll, where police gave chase. Moments later, it collided with the bike on the outskirts of Gunnedah. The teens drove off, but after a second pursuit for 26 kilometres, the ute crashed and the trio was arrested. Police are now investigating the crash, as well as the officers who were involved in the two pursuits, to determine if there's anything they could have done differently to prevent the motorcyclist's death.
I'm not comfortable with the actions taken at this point.
The teens are expected to be charged in the coming hours. Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
Yeah, so they already chased him. They killed a bike and then they kept chasing him. I mean, I don't know what the answers are for this one. Obviously, that's just horrific, you know what I mean? And the other poor lady that got chased. I don't know what the answers are. I'm not saying that I do. I'm not smart enough to know all the answers. But I mean, for this poor kid that got killed in Newcastle a couple of days ago, surely they didn't need to chase him to the point of him being killed. Like, he's not going to pull over. He's a young man. I don't know whether he's young or old. It doesn't matter. But because right now this week we've lost a young, kid, a young man, which is really, really sad. But on any other day, he could have ridden straight through and hit a lady with a pram, or an elderly lady, or anyone else, or maybe even the police could have got hurt. I'm not sure. But chasing someone just because he's got no light or no license plate seems a bit, erratic. It seems a little bit silly. I don't know whether they're weighing up the pros and the cons.
A 21-year-old Canterbury man has been killed after a high-speed chase through Sydney's southern suburbs. The motorcyclist was trying to outrun 3 police cars when he lost control.
A tragic end for a motorcycle rider, police say just wouldn't stop.
Yamaha just went flying past, like easy over 200.
Officers spotted the 21-year-old riding at speed through Daceyville just before 2:30 this morning. They followed him onto Canal Road, where he stopped at a red light. Ignoring police signals to pull over, the bike sped off again once the light changed, and a high-speed pursuit began down the Princes Highway.
So there's hundreds of, incidents. Nearly every time you see a police chase, they say, we caught off the chase just before the, accident happened. Which, like I said, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not saying that all the police are bad. All I'm saying is that, sometimes the criminal gets killed, and that's sad, and then sometimes an innocent bystander gets killed, which is extremely sad. So, if you lost your daughter or your wife or your husband or whatever in any of these chases where it might have been not really compulsory, and then you find out that a 22-year-old young police officer or whatever was basically making life and death decisions in the heat of the moment. See, the reality is, when you're in the heat of the moment and you got an ego and you're trying to do the best job you can, it's very hard to make a good decision. You know what I mean? So maybe there needs to be stronger, stricter laws that says, only if blah, 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 if it's, someone. I've seen, in the last couple of years, we've seen a few different incidents where people have been going around stabbing people or going around, really injuring people in the community. I can understand, chase them down. If they're running through, hitting people left, right and centre, fair enough. Maybe if they've done a serious armed hold-up or something where people have already lost their lives, fair enough. But if it's just for something minor and because the police want to chase them down, you know what I mean? It seems a little bit silly when not only their lives are at stake, but also innocent lives of the community. So, I'd really love to find out, what happens with this guy in Newcastle. I hope, us as a community can get some answers and find out exactly what went wrong and what didn't go wrong. But, I just wanted to make a little video, guys. And, I'm pretty passionate about this stuff because, as I said, I lost my father in a motorbike accident. But, that's it from me, guys. Cheers. Bye.